Alright, I think we're good.
Alright.
Well, that's a weird fucking beginning.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Let's cut.
Done. Wrap.
Welcome to the Hard R podcast.
No, that's not your host,
Caden.
Don't put my name on it. I do not want a hard R ever associated with me.
What I was going to ask you earlier is how many kills Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer had.
His middle name was Limer.
Like, Lionel.
Lionel? No wonder he
What
fucking
a
killed
piece of
people.
shit.
My middle name was Lionel. I'd kill people too. That's good.
I feel like...
How many? I'm going to say 237.
Dude, that's worse than you guessed earlier, 80.
And then you told me I was way off.
I
Was
said
way
way
too high?
lower. It's way
Oh.
less.
But I'm going to fucking cut his balls off again.
Honestly.
Oh, well, we have to cut his balls off.
Yeah, he's getting neutered next week.
That's your only reaction to a pho burrito?
Well, I'm on mic. They couldn't see that,
Well,
but now they know. But, like, I'm on a podcast. Like, what if I was just like, how many people did Jeffrey Dahmer kill? And be like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, that'd be a weird
pho
reaction.
burrito? I don't know.
We're recording right now.
Pho burrito would be good. What are the? Is
be
it like
good,
a
but
regular
do you
tortilla?
But you need to have broth to dip it in.
Yeah, that seems really good.
I feel like it should have broth.
Have you had? Have
to
you ever
dip
had?
in.
I think that's like the
Like
best
a
part
French
too. That's
dip,
like the
yeah.
that's like my favorite part.
It'd be like a French dip. If it's like that, it's good. So it's less than 80?
Oh yeah, his kill count wasn't
27.
minus 10. He had 17 kills from
Wow.
1978 to
But, like,
1991.
to think about it, that is so many fucking people.
Still a lot.
I don't have 17 friends.
You could if you wanted to.
I don't.
Well, they weren't his
barely know
friends.
you
You just lure fucking gay dudes from the bar.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do kind of get, like, assume serial killers have to kill. You have to kill, like, 3 people in a similar pattern to be considered a serial killer.
Yeah, that's pussy shit.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy killed like 33 women that they know of.
Yeah, which is that's a solid
That's
number.
a solid number for sure.
Welcome to the 500th fucking podcast where people talk about fucking serial killers.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
There's so many fucking
I'm not drunk
podcasts
enough to like...
be, like, you're not loose.
I'm not Lucy Casey.
Yeah.
Because it's
I definitely
500
feel-
degrees in here.
I'm feeling fine, but I'm also by the door. So I'm getting the most breeze.
I'm trying to think of topics. What were we going to talk about earlier?
Your night at work.
My night at work, do you want to hear about that?
Yes.
That was fucking rough, speaking of dead people.
What? I had to sneeze for a second.
Yeah, I didn't think I worked at all this week. I got a text on Thursday from my boss saying, like, coming at fucking 5:30 or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck, I work? And I went to the website and checked, and it was a benefit show. It was like a fundraising show for a family the dad just killed himself.
For Wise Guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, I guess the dude was a big comedy fan and did open mics back in the day with, like he started out with a whole bunch of the people who were, like, local guys now who are, like, headlining and stuff. Started out with them, but quit and had a family and shit, and he just killed himself.
Why did he kill himself?
Don't. He had,
Like what was...
Crohn's disease.
What is that exactly?
I don't know, but I know it's painful a lot of the time. I think it's like shingles, to where, like, I know you hurt constantly. It's like a disease where you hurt all the time. He killed himself, and we were doing a benefit show for his widow and kids, so all the money went to them. So already it was going to be a weird fucking night.
Wait, was it just an open mic that night? Or like what was the benefit
it was a show.
Like
It was
a legit show?
They had 5 comedians on. They all did like 20 minutes a pop.
Damn. Was it a bad turnout? What's
Yeah,
what's
oh my
the
God,
catch?
fucking 40. There's so much. There was only 40 people in the entire show, which was kind of a letdown.
And how much? Like, they can fit like 300, right?
Yeah. It's the least amount of people I've seen in there. But it's just like, it was so fucking uncomfortable. Everybody that came in was super fucking bummed out.
Yeah.
I remember, actually, the first people that came in, I was scanning their IDs, and I check them in, like, by their last name for their tickets. Scanned their IDs, saw the last name on the scanner, because it shows me the last name and the age. So it's like, the ticket's under Roger, or whatever the fuck it was. And they were like, yeah. And so I like mark it down, get him stamps. It's like, you guys are good to go. And the dude was like, did that thing just like, well, previously, like when I scanned his name, it was like, is it Rogers? And he was like, oh, does that thing tell you my last name? And I was like, yeah. And we like went through the motions, finished all the other shit, and they were going to the showroom. And they were like, Big Brother's watching us. But I assumed he meant the guy that killed himself. And so I said, I'm sure he's laughing. I'm sure he's looking down and laughing. And the guy gave me like a weird fucking look. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Lo and behold, that dude came out later to smoke. And he was like, what's going on? Like, did somebody die? And he just came to see a fucking comedy show. He had no idea that somebody killed themselves and this was a benefit show. Then, getting all the fucking people in, I have to charge tickets because, like, the money's supposed to be going to this wife and kids and shit, so I'm charging people money. Obviously, these 3 chicks come in, and it was like, it's $16 a pop. And they're like, okay, the first 2 pay with card, and the other chick, like, hands me jumbled up cash. It's like, that's $16. And I was like, okay. And then, like, it, like, clicks. And I was like, I just scanned her ID. Her last name's Bates. The dude's last name's Bates. I look at the poster. I just charged the wife to get into her husband's benefit show.
Oh my god.
And that loose cash shit was probably donations she had already gotten.
Oh my god.
That she gave me. I felt like such a fucking asshole.
It's like recycled money, pretty much. Like
it literally went right back into her bucket of money.
Like, yeah, so she just paid, but it's gonna go back to her anyway.
Yeah, 100%. But I still feel like a total asshole for making the chick whose husband died that week pay for her show for her husband to get money.
But at the same time, what is she supposed to be like? Yeah, so I'm like the wife and like this is
yeah, she probably should have mentioned it.
Yeah,
yeah, that feels I think she should have mentioned it.
Yeah, that's super weird though. To like yeah, my husband died, so we get in for free, right? But I mean, the whole show is for her. But I don't know.
It was just
you
weird,
should
man.
feel like a piece of shit.
And then there's this dude who's one of my favorite local comedians, and anyone who's into stand-up comedy should check him out because he's not going to be here for long.
What is he like? What's wrong with him?
He's been out in LA for years.
Oh, he's not gonna be in Utah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant he's not gonna be around.
I mean, he is a heroin addict. Or used to be a heroin addict.
Wait, was it that dude that we went and saw with Josh Wolf? He opened. He was the host. What's his name?
Did he host that night? Andy Gold, white guy, fat.
Yeah. And he has jokes about him
being a heroin addict.
Yeah. Okay.
Super funny dude. I love him.
He seemed very pissed off.
He's always pissed off.
And like after, he was pissed because he wasn't getting his paycheck. He was just fucking.
Yeah, he's a weird fucking dude. Like the first time, I remember Andy Gold from when I was like 17, going to the open mics at Wise Guys. He used to host the open mics back then.
Shit, that's like
forever ago. Yeah.
That's like fucking what, like 6 years ago?
Yeah, like I remember him hosting back then, and he was one of my favorite back then. And I loved him. He was one of the funniest dudes I'd seen, like local guys at Wise Guys. And I was working, this was a couple minutes back. I just realized I started a story in the middle of telling a story. Anyway, I'm going to finish this story now.
Good.
This is why this probably might be cost the ADHD podcast. We haven't settled on a name yet.
No, honestly, this is just... We need to do this more often.
And
like just talk to the mic and just get like more comfortable and be able to like play off each other and like talk more normal and just like get into a rhythm.
Yeah, figure out what we like. But I didn't even realize when we started. We are 9 minutes in.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I'm trying to keep it to an hour because anyway,
only 50 more minutes.
Yeah.
Sick.
Anyway, so to my story, into a story, Andy Gold was like the funniest dude at the open mics. I loved him, and he like disappeared off the scene. I got out of stand-up comedy for a while, and I was working at Wise Guys one night, and like a lot of the times we only have one fucking door. Like we have a back door kind of, but it's like construction's fucked it up right now. We have one door, so all the comedians have to come in through that door.
The main entrance?
Yeah. And so I don't even remember who was headlining that night, but the openers came in. I saw like 3 people who come in and were like, oh, I'm a comic. It's like, okay, all the fucking openers are here. And I the first opener I never get to see on show. I don't get to see him on stage. I'm still working and taking tickets for most of the time. And I hear this dude, and he's going off and like talking, and it's like, oh, I used to do heroin, blah blah blah, and then had a whole bunch of super fucking killer jokes. And I was like, who the fuck is this opener? I was imagining it was this guy who came in earlier, tall, white guy, dark hair, glasses, and I was like, I've never seen this guy before. This guy's fucking killing. He reminds me of Andy Gold. And so that was in my head. I was like, God, I haven't thought about Andy Gold in years. And then I see, like, a half an hour later, a dude walks out, and I was like, that looks like Andy Gold. And it didn't, like, click yet that I was like, had thought about Andy Gold 30 minutes ago. It was just like a passing thought.
Yeah.
I was like, that guy looks like Andy Gold. That might be Andy Gold. And so I was like, struck up conversation with him. I was like, oh, hey, man, what's your name? And he's like, oh, my name's Jared. Jared Donner.
Okay.
And gave me a complete fake name. And so it's like, but he seems so confident. And I was like, maybe I'm just mistaking. Andy Gold doesn't even live in Utah anymore. This is like right when he got back in town.
Oh my god.
And I was like, he doesn't even live in fucking Utah anymore. That couldn't have been him. And then after the show, he hung out with all the fucking comedians. And they like said Andy. And I was like, this motherfucker gave me a fake fucking name.
He just don't want to deal with your ass, dude.
He tells everyone a fake name.
That must be
The
fun.
other night, Saturday night, he was the host for the dude, for Alex Voluto, who's another local guy who was headlining. He was the host. And he was like standing at the exit door while all the audience was leaving. And he gave like 3 people 3 different fake names.
Why?
I don't know. They were literally like, you're so funny, man. Like, what's your name? And he's like, Don. And then they leave, and they're going to try to look up this comedian named Don.
That's what I was thinking. That's just bad, like, advertisement. Like, unless you just don't give a shit.
I think it's just to get shits and giggles from it.
Because, like, I mean, the fucking audience probably should pay attention and try to remember his name.
He's just a weird kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he seemed like it. But you can't, it's kind of, it was hard to tell if he was just kind of fucking around or if he was like genuinely pissed off. That's like
it was probably a little bit of both.
His attitude from that one time that I met him, so I can't really judge.
I just know Penny always talks about how, like, because people will be like, Andy's kind of like rude. Andy's a weird guy. He's kind of rude. And then my boss Penny will be like, oh, you should have seen him before he left. Like, before he left for California, he was a way bigger dick. And he was a dick to me when I met him.
So, was that because, do you think, of, like, the heroin?
I think it's just who he is.
Was he sober when he went to California?
Yes, he's been, I think he's been sober for years and years.
Okay.
He's been sober since before I ever saw him perform at Wise Guys.
Oh, okay. That's a shame. No, I'm just kidding.
As far as I know, he's been sober.
Well, I wonder if he was he always, like, was he into doing stand-up when he was on heroin?
I wonder that.
I wonder. That would be a bad combination.
One thing about Andy Gold is that he seems so inhibited by the clean comedy that they're trying to make him do. Because if the headliner's clean, we have a lot of clean shows at Jordan Landing Wise Guys. And he feels like, you can just tell he's super inhibited by it. Like, he would be killing it if he was allowed to be dirty.
Yeah.
He's just made to be dirty.
I thought he was pretty funny. He did slip up on a joke, and it was kind of awkward.
But Josh Wolf was he slipped up on a joke.
Yeah.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't slip up, like, swear. I mean, he, like, slipped up as in, like, he
joke.
fumbled his joke, and it kind of, it just feels awkward when, you know, somebody, like, you know what they meant to say, and they switched it. I can't remember, like, but it wasn't, like, that big of a fuck up, and I feel like he handled it really well.
But, he was one of the comedians at that dude's benefit.
Oh, okay.
And he was, like, so belligerent to the crowd. At one point...
It's all 40 people.
Yeah, there was only 40 people. And he gave him shit why there was nobody there. It was fucked up.
You guys are acting like somebody died.
Yeah, like, I even thought
Cheer
that,
up.
too. I kept thinking that. I thought so many terrible suicide thoughts in that show, but he was on stage, and some lady got on her phone, and he was like, at first he was like, geez, lady, like, come on, what do you forget you're in a comedy show? Come on, get off your phone. And then she got on it again, like, a couple of minutes later, and he's like, come on, I just told you, get off your phone. Like, and that was the wife.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know.
Oh my god, but she should know better, but still, fuck,
Yeah.
well, what do you... I feel like good for him. He can call out anybody he wants.
Well, I don't think he realized.
No.
The other thing is, after the show was said and done, obviously everybody there knows each other. It's a lot of brothers, sisters, the wife, the parents.
It's pretty much just like all like family members.
A lot of them
like some randoms.
And we were waiting for the show to get out. And I have to wait for everyone to clear out of the lobby before we can go home and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there talking to one of the waiters, trying to... Bo, shut up! Like, I was talking to one of the waiters, and I was like, everyone was just hanging out in the showroom talking, because they all know each other. And, like, then Andy walked up, and he was like, because I was like, these people need to leave. Like, I get that this is like a different... I want to tell them they should go to the lobby so we can clean up in here, but, like, I feel weird because everyone's dead. And
everyone's dead.
I mean, not everyone's dead. A guy died. Goddamn. Everyone's going to be fucking dead if they don't get out of my building right now.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No, everyone... Like, somebody died that they know, and so I feel weird telling them to leave. I want to be, like, considerate. And Andy Gold walked up and he was like, you want me to tell these guys to get the fuck out of here? And he like got up on stage. No mic. The audio was cut off. And he was just like, hey, everybody, you gotta get the fuck out of here. We want to go home.
Oh my God.
We don't want to stay here all night.
I could picture him being like that, dude. Oh my God.
He is...
What a dick.
He's a dick, but he's...
Dude,
but he's the most interesting
No, I
guy.
wish I could be like that, and because I would just feel so bad. I feel like
he like almost has Asperger's, to where like
Asperger's.
I don't know if he just doesn't give a shit.
He's socially awkward, but he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of social awkwardness, but I don't know if it's confidence that he doesn't care what you think, or he just doesn't understand that what he's doing is considered wrong.
Yeah, he's got to know. Because that would just be too weird that he chose to be a stand-up comedian and doesn't know what he's saying is kind of fucked up. You know?
Like, but it's like only in social interactions. He knows everything he's saying is fucked up.
Oh, yeah, no, like, and the difference between his stage performance and, like, talking to him after the show, it was, like, two different people.
Yeah, but he is, like, my favorite Utah comic.
Yeah, I remember... There was like the two guys that I would always see, and they would always have the same jokes, and they just like one was Guy.
Oh, Guy? You used to see Guy a lot?
Yeah. Short dude with glasses, and
he did that benefit show.
He was there, yeah. No, I remember he was pretty funny for a while, but a lot of his jokes were based around West Valley, where the Old Wise Guys was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I ever
performed comedy since that one was open.
He hasn't performed after.
Not really.
What the fuck?
He does this show called Guy and Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus is the black dude, right? Or who's the tall black dude? And then there's the other bearded guy.
Oh, Jay Whitaker's the tall black guy.
Yeah, okay. And then I know there's this Jacob Lee. It's spelled weird. It's like Leigh.
Yeah, it's very Utah spelling.
And he was really funny. I remember I used to have his business card from like 2012 when I first saw him. He was kind of a bigger dude at the time. And
I don't know what, like, I think they just work downtown.
Yeah, no, I last time I saw Jacob downtown. I think I saw Guy downtown, and I think that Whitaker dude,
Jay Whitaker,
the tall African American fellow.
Yeah.
The harder.
No. Erase. You can't release this now.
The harder podcast.
Yeah, we were gonna start a podcast, but every episode Kyler said the N-word and we couldn't release any of them.
He just got too drunk. No, but I remember he was there, but I don't think he went on stage. And I remember seeing Guy at a Slayer concert or like some thrash show. I swear.
That's crazy.
I was like, you look really familiar. Tell me a joke. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. But he looked like one of my language arts teachers, and I asked him if he was a fucking
teacher.
That's crazy. And he's like, no. And then he said he was a comedian. I was like, okay, no, now that's where I've seen you. I saw you when you opened for Steve-O, because I saw Steve-O.
Oh, he opened for Steve-O?
Dude, he opened for Steve-O probably 3 times at least.
Two or three times. He's kind of stopped doing comedy.
Dang.
Like, at least that's what my boss Penny says, is that he doesn't perform solo shows as much. He just comes down and does his Guy and Marcus shows. To where him and a dude who, like, plays guitar go up on stage. I'm actually really excited. It's in, like, a couple of weeks.
You should hit me up. I want to go to that.
Yeah, they said it's like the crowds that go there are rowdy as fuck. The last time we had a guy there, we had to call the cops. I wasn't there for that show.
Like they like heckle or like
just belligerent drunk people, I guess.
Dude, it's so awkward being in the crowd and just hearing usually drunk white chicks fucking yell out.
Worst.
And they don't ever say anything clever and don't know when to shut up.
No.
And I just cringe in my fucking seat, just kind of like.
I can't stand hecklers.
And they always get shit on too. I'm like, you deserved it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to see anybody get kicked out.
But like at a point, you deserve it.
Like,
we've had to kick out a handful of people.
Fuck up. Like I hate. Like I remember one time I saw Steve-O in Denver, and this couple in front of us, I guess, were like kept like nodding off and looked like they were like not paying attention, kind of like talking to each other, but just like not making any sense. And Steve-O called them out and was like, I'm sorry, I hate to do this, but like you guys just look like you're fucking on heroin and shit, and like you guys been, you know, nodding off this whole time, not paying attention. Like I just gotta kick you guys out. And he totally called them out on. Like I've actually seen Steve-O kick out a few different people on like a few different occasions, because I think I've seen him like 5 times, and I've actually seen him staple his nuts to his leg live, which was pretty fucking awesome. It was like he hung upside down and put his nutsack over his dick, and then he called it like the turtle or something, like, and like stapled it so like it was like hiding his dick.
That's fucking funny.
I remember.
I've never seen him live.
It's like if you're not a fan of Steve-O and you're purely like
a comedy fan,
yeah, then you probably won't think he's as funny. He's definitely gotten way better like over the years.
Yeah.
Because I first saw him in 2012, I believe.
Yeah.
And like anytime he's ever come to Utah since,
just gotten better.
I saw him and I thought he was
Well, there is that like weird thing that when somebody gets famous and they just want to decide to start doing podcasts, they're gonna sell out shows, but they don't have like that skill to back it up.
Comedy shows. Podcasts.
Oh, what did I say?
You said podcasts. They won't start, but yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
But
I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't done a
famous
podcast.
person, right? He would kill it in a podcast.
Yeah.
But when like a famous person decides to start doing comedy,
stand up, and like they get a huge crowd but
because they're famous, but they don't have like the skill to back it up yet.
It's different, and it's definitely more stories for sure.
We
it's
had
like
Jason
fucked up
Mewes.
stories.
We had Jason Mewes at Wise Guys the other day. The dude, Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh,
he's Jay.
Okay, yeah, okay, blonde dude.
Yeah,
fucking.
and he
doesn't seem like he would be funny for some reason. I don't know why.
He had good stories. But he wasn't a stand-up.
Yeah.
He was just a famous guy up there telling his crazy drug stories.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I think that's what, like a lot of times stand-up can be just a lot of, like, crazy stories. Maybe you, like, you know, enhance it a little bit. You might stretch the truth. Like, it might not all be real. Or, like, you just completely make up a story that seems like it's a real story, but it's just a joke. Yeah. It's just, like, that's pretty much what a joke is, like, stand-up. Like, you want to make it believable as possible. And sometimes you tell, like, it's just, like, a fucking like knock joke style, just super simple, like, okay, he just made that up. Yeah. But like Steve-O doesn't do jokes like that, really. No. And if he does do a joke, he'll be like, okay, no, I'm kidding, that was a joke. But like, because everything he says is true. Yeah. And recently he's been doing these shows. I don't know if you know about this. One of the times when I did see him in Denver, so he did the whole show, but like in the taping he shows clips. Like, so when you see this edited, and he showed us all the clips after. And like they'll edit like our reactions to as if like we watched the clips live, but it's like he did his show. It's like, all right, now we're gonna watch the clips, and he showed us all like never before seen footage. Some of it is okay. He mixed like old footage, which I've definitely seen, with like brand new footage that isn't anywhere, like not on YouTube. Like you can't see it. It's only like if you go to those shows. And there's the one where he got super burnt and he was playing with rocket engine fuel. It's like this powdery stuff. And it looks pretty cool if you use it in like small amounts. It has like a big burst of flame. It doesn't like burn you at all. It's just like really flashy. But he put like a bunch on his carpet and was like laying in it before he like ignited it and was like, fire angel.
What the fuck?
Lit it and it went like 10 feet in the air. The flame, like the fire almost touched the ceiling. And all he's wearing is a t-shirt and jeans.
Oh my fucking God.
As he got lit on fire. And it like didn't last very long, but it was like immediately like super hot, so it just immediately melted his skin within like 2 seconds. Yeah. And he had to get skin grafts. Like, I remember hearing like he technically relapsed, but only it wasn't like a drug, like it wasn't like he couldn't you know, he didn't like relapse because he was in so much pain. It was like he had to, like, physically, or else like he just couldn't handle it. It wasn't like, you know, fuck it, I'm going off the wagon or whatever. It was like, and he felt so bad about that, about like, but dude, he had like 3rd-degree burns. Like, dude,
no.
Burns are like the worst. Like, I can't think of a worse injury with recovery.
Because
like,
it's just, like, it gets worse.
Dude, definitely. Like, when I got really badly burned, I only got like bad 2nd-degree burns on the back of my knee from firework, and the first 2 days I was almost in no pain because I think it just burnt the nerves and shit off. Like, when it happened. Yeah. So like right when it happened, it felt like a bad sunburn. Okay, it sucked. The next day, it kind of just went away completely, and I went to the doctor to get it cleaned and checked out to make sure it was gonna be okay, because I was just a little concerned. And he's like, "Oh, it's just 2nd degree. It's not," because I thought it might have been 3rd degree. He's like, "No, there's 2 different layers of 2nd degree burns," and I had like a worse layer of 2nd degree. And it took about a week of just laying in bed and barely being able to walk, because every time I put my leg down off my bed, it felt like somebody was hitting me in the leg with a bat. Like, literally, it was like the worst throbbing pain, because it was like when the blood would flow through it, like the nerves were coming back, and like it literally wanted to bring me to tears. And I was like, I was like, should I go to the hospital? Like, is this normal? But I guess like it was healing fine. It didn't, like, everybody I talked to, like when I went to the doctor, I went to the doctor again after that, like a few days into, like after I saw the first doctor, and he's like, looks like you're healing fine. He gave me some like burn cream to help heal, but like that's just how burns heal, dude. Like sometimes people have to go into a medically induced coma because the burns are so horrifically painful that you can't
deal with it.
You can't, like, you literally can't be conscious during like the healing process.
That's fucking insane. Burns terrified the shit out of me.
And I know how bad burns are, and I still enjoy lighting myself on fire. Like I thoroughly enjoy it, which is really fucked up.
Being lit on fire would terrify me. Not like when it's planned out, wearing the right clothes, you've taken the precautions, but like imagine like not planning to be lit on fire.
Do you remember that story?
When he crashed his fucking motorcycle. I wish he would have stayed so he could have told the story.
Okay, our friend Tino was riding his motorcycle, and he was just only wearing like, I think he was wearing a helmet, but just gym shorts and t-shirt. And at first he said he felt something cold on his leg, which was the gasoline leaking onto his leg. And then all of a sudden he looks down and he's on fucking fire. He lays down his bike, wrecks. Some guy drives past and throws a fucking fire extinguisher at him so he could put himself out.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. I
don't remember that part.
I swear. It was more because I think Tino was able to put his leg out, but Tino almost got the exact same burn on the exact same part of his leg as I did, on the back of his knee and thigh. And his was bad too. But you know, the guy threw the extinguisher so he could put his motorcycle out because that thing was up in flames. He had a gas leak somehow, and it got onto him. I couldn't imagine like riding your motorcycle.
Oh God, no!
You're just Ghost Rider.
Just fucking Ghost Rider.
Dude, so fucked.
It was fucked. All right. Time for refills.
100%.
Hell yeah.
And then when we come back, I want to show you a video that I was telling you about earlier. It's
really
cringy. It makes me cringe when I watch it, and I did it.
Fuck?
Yeah, it's really
whack.
Makes my toes curl thinking about it.
All right, well, we'll watch that when we get back. Time for refills. And we're back.
You piece of shit.
I didn't even mean to do that. We've been back for a second. We just had the mic muted.
Oh my God.
I realized when you were saying, and we're back, there was no fucking sound.
Could I hear it?
And now we're back.
We got our
refilled
Tito's and OJ and whatever else you put in this.
Ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Ale made out of gingers.
That's really the ASMR.
That was one of my favorite parts of the last podcast that will never be released.
The ASMR?
The podcast that shall not be named.
Yeah, maybe next year. Alright, well, I'll show you this video.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can probably, if we ever, well, I'll say add a clip of this in, but we can just describe what's happening.
Set it up.
I'll set it up. Okay, so a couple times now, my Uncle Jordan has told me that my grandpa used to do this weird, I guess you'd call it like a party trick, It's really weird, and if you did it at a party, it'd just creep people out. But anyway, you'd get like basically some sort of needle, kind of like a sewing needle type scenario, like some sort of pin and a spoon.
Okay, leave out the rest. I feel like that's a good setup. I'm gonna react to the video, then we'll describe what's happening.
All right.
Because I don't want to know what happens with
Okay.
said needle and said spoon.
I know, because if you just say, oh, my grandpa used to do this thing with a needle and spoon, that's how I set it up one time, and I was like, wait, that's bad. That sounds like he's doing heroin. My grandpa used to do this trick with the needle and spoon.
All right, okay, he's starting the video
All
now.
right, I'll try to turn it up. The audio's kind of quiet, but
Yeah.
Recording right now. Okay, so here's a new party trick that I learned. Apparently my grandpa would get needles like this and a spoon and hammer it all the way down into his thigh. So I'm gonna try it. I learned
What
this
the
from my uncle.
fuck?
I never actually saw it be done before.
Why is it taking so long? Ah! Oh my fucking god, he is just hammering a fucking sewing needle into his leg. That took like 30 hits. That's not a party trick.
Yeah, dude.
That's just stupid.
Dude, it's cool because
What does it feel like?
it's not as much as like painful as it is just awkward and cringy. Like you
Yeah.
can feel it in your leg, but it's not
Unbearable.
It's not unbearable by any
to
means.
Explain the video to the people listening. Not that we have people listening
but,
yet,
you know, we gotta pretend.
yeah, fingers crossed one day someone will listen to this.
We can. Keep our hopes up.
It was a video of Kyler doing a party trick his uncle taught him, where you get a sewing needle, the ones that have the little plastic bulb on the top, and a spoon, and to just fucking
like tap
it into his leg until it was completely in. That's not a party trick.
Yeah, well, it's like who thinks of that? Like, why would that ever cross anybody's mind? The fact that my grandpa used to do that for my uncle, like, forever ago, like, when he was a kid, like, I
see where you come from now.
I know, right?
I see why you do what you do.
I know, it all kind of fucking adds together. That's what we were thinking, too. And so I actually did that once before last weekend, but it wasn't on camera at all. And I actually got that one all the way down to where the plastic
one wasn't all the way down?
That one had like a couple millimeters. Like it didn't, like it was almost all the way down.
It looked completely.
It was
in the
almost,
video.
but like I wouldn't count it. It was like, you know, it was like had a room, like, you know, a little bit room to spare. But I think it was because I swear to God, I felt like I was hitting my bone or something hard. Probably my bone in my leg. Because that thing is about like, what would you say, like an inch and a half, 2 inches long?
Yeah, I'd say like an inch and a half, yeah.
Like about an inch and a half. And like on top of your thigh, it was like almost by where my knee is. And if it wasn't hitting my bone, I don't know what it was hitting, but I was trying to get it to go all the way down, and it was not budging. It was like, it felt like it was like,
fucking
I could almost feel that it was hitting something solid inside of me. And I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I'm gonna pull this out. But it's more like, you know, like when you get like a shot for like, you know, like a flu shot or whatever, like any sort of needle like that going into you can kind of feel the needle going in. You can feel that like sensation of it like in your arm or wherever. It's kind of what it feels like. Obviously that went a lot deeper than they would ever give you like a shot for, but same thing. It's not that painful, especially like the skinnier the needle, the like less painful it would be. I mean, it definitely hurts. I don't not feel pain, but it's like it's different. I have a weird pain tolerance.
I would imagine so. You've been through a lot.
It's a weird pain tolerance because like things
What's
like
the stunt that hurt the worst?
Definitely the stunt that fucking almost ended my life completely.
Almost ended his life completely.
Because
should we tell that story?
we can tell it.
Might as well.
I mean, because technically I did flatline, but I'm here now, so it's weird to say like, oh, that stunt killed me, or it's weirder to say the stunt that almost killed me, because technically it did. So I can't say almost killed me because it did kill me, but I was just saved. But it was so painful, but it was almost like it gradually got worse and worse to where it was like the worst pain of my life, consistently like getting worse and staying worse. Like a nut shot is really fucking bad, but then it goes away like fairly quickly. You know, getting punched in the head. You know, like little like stunts like, you know, like pushing a nail through the webbing of your hand. that hurts, but then like it goes away. Like getting tased, I fucking hate getting tased in the moment, but like it almost goes away just as quickly as it's done to you, you know? So like there's a lot of stunts that are super painful, but like the pain goes away. Like getting tased in the nuts fucking sucks. I did that once.
Yeah.
Or probably getting pepper sprayed, and I did that forever ago, and I never.
That was like high school.
Yeah, that was early high school. I was probably like 16, maybe 17, and I don't ever want to get pepper sprayed ever again.
I remember when Big Al got pepper sprayed.
Yeah, in his
that
fucking
was
butthole.
Fucked.
Yeah, like imagine like when you get the salsa shits just times a million, because pepper spray is up there. Like it like you can measure pepper spray in Scoville units.
Yeah,
and
that's how they measure it. Isn't it made from like mustard seeds?
I'm not exactly
that's mustard
sure.
Gas.
Yeah.
Mustard gas, the shit police use in riots, is literally just the mustard seeds.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
Raw mustard by itself is spicy as fuck.
I had no idea that mustard was actually spicy.
Mustard's hella spicy.
I don't know what. I mean, I'm assuming they use some sort of like I don't know what peppers. If it's an, I honestly think it's an extract, a pepper extract that they use for pepper spray. But like, because there's a few things like there's a lot of stunts that I would do again and I know suck, but I'm like fuck it, I'd be down to do it again. Like putting a mousetrap on my dick. I know it sucks, but I'm down to do it again because it's like not that bad. But like getting pepper sprayed, it's weird to say that these things aren't that bad. Like stapling a firecracker to my forehead and lighting it off. I've done that like 3 times, and but like I broke a beer bottle over my face and had to get 8 stitches, so I probably wouldn't want to do that again.
Yeah.
And that one was weird because it wasn't. I don't remember any pain. I remember hitting it over my head, my ears ringing really loud, like I almost went like deaf for a second. And then all of a sudden, a waterfall of like warm,
God, that would
warmness over my face.
much.
And I'm used to bleeding a little bit. I was like, okay, I could tell.
That
like, this is too much blood coming out right now, and my friends are freaking out. Like they know it's bad.
Yeah.
And when you can see it in your friends' eyes, and that like
bad
makes you panic. Anyway, back to the story of the stunt that fucked me up, and I can still feel the pain right now. And it's been this month. Oh, what is it today? The 13th of May?
It is the 13th of May.
In 3 more days, it'll be 5 months since that.
5 months, and you're still having pain from it.
I can still feel pain from it. It's like a bruise that won't go away right now. Like just touching it.
Aches. Yeah.
But it's like only to the touch, really. Like moving. Like you saw me like doing flips and stuff earlier.
You were fucking killing it.
I can still move around pretty good.
And you've done stunts since then.
Yeah. So it's a weird thing that I think I'll have pain for quite a while.
It was a major injury.
Yeah. And what hurts right now is from the surgery, not even the stunt itself.
Yeah.
Like it's what the surgery is what fucks you up more. Like you can tear your ACL, but then when you go get surgery to get it fixed, that puts you out for way longer than the actual injury itself.
Yeah.
But like it's like something necessary that has to be done. Obviously for me,
save your life.
People don't even. Okay, if you're listening right now, like you're wondering what the fuck happened. The idea. It was Christmas themed, so I got a bunch of light tubes, those fluorescent light tubes, and painted red stripes on them to try to look like candy canes. That was the goal. We'll wait for that car to drive by.
I think it's a train.
Oh, yeah, it's the tracks train.
That runs behind my house.
And the idea was to tape these light tubes on my back, and while I ride a bicycle into a clothesline, like a rope, to hit my neck, and then I fall off the bike onto my back, breaking the light tubes, and the goal would be to like bleed a little bit, but walk away and just like it would be cool. And this idea was actually made up by my friend JJ and Villa when we were out in Virginia last fall. They thought of this idea, and my friend Villa wanted to do it, but then he backed out. He's like, dude, I can't. Like I've never clotheslined myself before on a bike, and I feel like I won't be able to commit to it. Like he got too nervous and he backed out of it. Mm-hmm. And I would have done it then, but that was when I split my eye open from the beer bottle. So I was like, I don't want to do anything too crazy. I have stitches.
Yeah, you've already fucked up.
Yeah, fresh stitches in my face.
Yeah.
So that got put off for a few months. And then December came rolling around. I was like, fuck it, dude. I should do that stunt for this Christmas special I'm working on. And at first, I wanted to tape these light tubes on my back like an X. And somebody's like, oh, what if we do like a cross? And I'm like, oh, a cross would be cool because it's like Jesus, Christmas. It was like, oh, that's kind of like a cool idea. But that's what fucked me up. because when I hit the rope, when I clothesline myself, which I've actually done 2 times before on a bicycle, where you ride a bike into a rope, not very fast, and catch it on your throat. Because if you go more than like 5 miles per hour, you're gonna like crush your esophagus.
Yeah, like so you can't go too hard with that shit.
And it like shit whips you because it's kind of elasticy. So it just fucking yanks you into the ground super hard. And so what happened was, the reason it was bad that it was a T, it was because the T of the light tubes, the horizontal way, landed like perfectly with my arms and my elbows, with the like holding the bike handlebars. So when I hit my throat on the rope, my arms automatically pushed back to like kind of brace myself.
Yeah.
And it broke a couple of the light tubes in half before I hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then so when I hit the ground,
it was pointing towards you when you hit the ground.
And they were duct taped to me.
Yeah.
And so they're duct taped to me. They were broken and already like sharp, pointy end, like a fucking skewer. And then when I landed on my back, it just stabbed into me on the right side of my spine into my left lung.
So through his back.
Went through me. And right when I hit the ground, you could tell, I was like, oh my God. I kind of felt like something was wrong, but I was just hoping it would go away, because earlier that day I hit my chest doing a stunt and it went away after like 30 minutes. It's like, okay, maybe this is just from that, like because I felt like I got the wind knocked out of me. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I get up and they're taking the light tubes off of me that were taped, and I'm just bleeding like a stuffed pig, bleeding everywhere. And my friends are freaking out, and I'm telling them, pull the glass out of me, pull the glass. I can feel I felt it on the left side of my spine.
Yeah.
And the puncture wound was on the right. So I'm like, pull it out. It's like over here. I'm trying to point to it. They're like, we don't see anything. Like we can't. Like you.
Because that's not where the cut was.
Yeah, that's not where it was. So they're trying to pull as much glass as they can on the surface. And then after like 2 or 3 minutes of that, they're like, we need to go to the hospital now.
Fuck.
Let's go to the hospital. So I walk to my buddy's car, and as I'm walking to the car, I'm like, you don't think that could have punctured a lung, do you? Like, I said that, but I couldn't tell that a lung was punctured at that time. Mm-hmm. It just kind of felt harder to breathe, but I couldn't tell why, if I just knocked the wind out.
Of yourself,
yeah, I didn't know what the reason, I didn't know I actually punctured my lung. And so we get into the car, we're driving to the hospital, which is like 5 minutes away. And I start to have a really bad panic attack. And I wasn't sure if it was just because of loss of blood, because all of a sudden I felt really lightheaded and like I was gonna pass out, but like also my ears were ringing and everything got really bright. Like my senses got like so enhanced that like my ears were ringing, my sight got super bright, and I felt like sick, like I was gonna pass out. And my friends talked me off that ledge, like, no, you're gonna be fine. I was like, okay. I calmed down. And I also felt like I couldn't breathe, like I was hyperventilating. Yeah. And I've never
starting to go into shock.
Yeah, shock is what it was. I was starting to go into shock, and I've never had that happen before, ever in my life. And I kind of came out of that after a minute or two, and we went into the hospital, and the pain's getting worse and worse and worse. I could barely like walk. I would look like an old man trying to walk, taking little baby steps, dude. It hurt so fucking bad. Yeah. Couldn't sit down, couldn't lay down, couldn't do anything without feeling like excruciating pain. And I remember the first hospital I went to, we got what is it called, MRI and X-rays and shit. Yeah. And I'm starting to calm down. The pain's starting to somewhat subside because I'm laying on my right side away from my left lung, which at this point is filling up with blood, and I had no idea. And they come back, they're like, yeah, well, it looks like you're gonna have surgery. Your lung's filling up with blood, and we're pretty sure there's glass in your lung, so we're gonna have to go in and get the glass out of your lung and, fix you up. So I wait probably for another 20-30 minutes for a fucking ambulance ride to go to a different hospital, which is also about 20-minute drive away, 15 minutes maybe. And that was fucking terrible. Just like the bumpiest ride of my life. Oh, God. Like I could feel every
little rock you fucking ran over was just pain shooting through your fucking back.
Oh yeah. And I get there. I mean, this is kind of a long story, but I mean, if we have time to keep telling it.
We got time. We'll end it on this, I think.
Yeah. So I get to the next hospital. The emergency part of it, and they're looking for an email from the other hospital of my X-rays and stuff, and they couldn't find it. It wasn't sent. They're like, I don't know. We don't know what's wrong with it. Like, well, we don't have the email. We don't have the X-rays, and I'm sitting there waiting to be fixed up.
Yeah.
And they don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. They don't have a clue what's going on, and and it's really hot in there. I'm starting to get all sweaty. I'm still bleeding. They finally figure out what's going on. I think they take me to get another MRI and X-ray as well, just to see if it's getting worse. And they tell me what they thought was that the bleeding had stopped.
Yeah.
And they thought the bleeding was coming from my lungs solely. So and it was late at night by this point. So they're like, okay, we want to wait till tomorrow to do your surgery. And in my mind, I'm like, this is fucked up. Like, how am I gonna sleep? I'm not gonna be able to sleep with glass in my body.
Drugs.
That's right. Yeah. Like, we're gonna do surgery on you tomorrow. I'm like, when tomorrow? Like early in the morning.
Tomorrow? You're gonna give me surgery tomorrow? Okay, then I need morphine now. Yeah. Just to be able to sleep.
Yeah. So they tell me we're doing fucking surgery tomorrow, and we FaceTime with the doctor on this fucking...
You FaceTime?
Pretty much. Like, the doctor who did my surgery, I guess, like, they had, like, this monitor, like, came in. And I remember laying on my back in the gown and my...
Like South Park? Like that episode of fucking South Park where everyone's, like, a monitor.
Pretty much. Like, they rolled the doctor in on a monitor, and he was talking to this other doctor that was in there with me. And I'm laying there, and, like, I had my legs spread, unknowing that, like, the doctor could just totally see my junk from the fucking screen. And then she kind of looked over, she's, like, trying to, like, make me, like, cover up. Because, like, my dick's just totally
hanging fucking out right in front of the doctor's computer.
There was no way to get comfortable. But I kind of found a comfortable way to lay down, like, kind of, like, on my right side.
Yeah.
Which was where the cut was, the impact,
But not the major damage.
But it's not where the left side of my lung was. So if I laid on my right side, it felt better. And they're like, okay, well, what we're going to do tonight, or right now, is try to take out as much glass as we can from the puncture wound. So you have to roll over. So I roll over, and in my body, I can just feel, and I'm assuming all the blood, everything moving around, all the glass and blood just mashing together. And that was so excruciating. They give me shots in my back so I couldn't feel them digging around. And Tyler said, my buddy Tyler and my dad were there watching them dig the glass out of my back. They said they must have gone like a finger's length into my back, digging glass out.
Oh my God, that just like made me shiver.
Yeah. Dude, I still have have you seen the glass shards?
No, you never showed me. They're like covered in blood.
Yeah, they're like in this little hospital, like looks like a
vial.
Like a vial, almost something like you'd like take a piss test in. Like a little like a little cup, like a shot glass, and it's just filled with shards of glass, and some of them are probably about 1.5 inches long.
God,
and about maybe 1/4 of an inch thick, like wide, like just big pieces of glass that they took out of my spine, or right next to my spine, out of my back. And I couldn't feel that, luckily, but it was a bit creepy just hearing my brother or my friend and my dad freak the fuck out as the doctor's pulling this glass from me.
Oh my God.
So that happens, and then they staple me up, but he gives me like the worst like botched staple job ever. He gives me, I think he put around 8 to 10 staples in my back, and I remember Tyler's like, oh, that's kind of like fucked up looking. He said, it's okay, we'll take them out and like redo it later. Yeah. They never did. They left it like that.
It's still so like
I have
that?
I have a fucked up scar from that. Like,
damn.
I don't know if you ever saw, but like, it just wasn't very. Because it had gotten super swollen. There was a hematoma in it, so like it was swelling up with blood and air.
What the fuck is a hematoma?
I honestly don't really know.
I hear commercials. Like on daytime TV.
A hematoma. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I
see all these like lawyer ads to like, if you experienced a hematoma from blah 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 blah.
Are you sure you're not thinking of mesothelioma?
That's what I'm thinking.
Just because you just heard oma.
Oma. Mm-hmm. Oma. Yeah, 100% is mesothelioma.
Hematoma or hematoma or whatever is a localized bleeding outside of blood vessels due to either disease or trauma, including injury or surgery, and may involve blood continuing to seep from broken capillaries. So it's like internal bleeding, pretty much, and it was like swelling up.
And that's what was causing the swelling, was blood
just swelling up
your back
next to where my puncture wound was. So it's kind of like it like fucked up the way the guy stapled. So normally they don't really go in that much. Mm-hmm. They barely kind of crimp. They almost don't even break the skin sometimes. It's weird how they bend into you. But it was just fucked up. I'm pretty sure I have scars from the staples. Anyway, they staple me up and we're like, all right, tomorrow we'll see you. And they bring me to my room And it's getting worse and worse. Breathing is pretty much like I can take like a half a second of like breath in,
so like
and it's like,
yeah,
like I cannot breathe deep at all, and it hurts so bad to breathe. And it feels like I just ran a fucking marathon. I cannot catch my breath. I cannot breathe. Like I'm suffocating is what it's feeling like, and in a lot of pain from around like my like upper left side of my chest all the way down into my stomach. Because I mean, your lung goes kind of deep down, and like it was all filling up with blood, like my torso, and so
So you literally couldn't breathe in because your lung was filled with blood.
100% is what happened.
Oh my
left lung,
fucking god!
My left lung completely filled up with blood.
So you're like drowning in your.
I was drowning in my own blood, and they didn't know that because this is what happened was, but come to find out later. So. I'll get to that in a second. So I'm in the room with all my friends and my dad, and I just remember all of a sudden, like, they gave me a bunch of medicine. They gave me a little bit of morphine, or like they gave me a little bit of everything to try to help. Nothing was helping at all. Pain was the same, if not worse. All of a sudden, I feel like I have to pee, but it's almost like a Bernie feeling, like not Bernie Sanders, but
oh my god,
burning feeling, not Bernie. And
it was like a Bernie 2020.
Yeah. And which is super weird, but like all of a sudden I felt like I had to pee out of nowhere. I got really dizzy, like you have the spins, but like when you get cross-faded spins. So like, and got super sick, kind of like cold sweats or whatever, just like heat flashes, just kind of, it was just fucked up, probably like the most sick I've ever felt. And I'm looking around, and I'm telling my buddy this as it's happening, my friend Landon. He's like, dude, call the nurse and tell them something. And I, like, press the button. I'm like, I don't even remember what I said. I was something about, like, I don't feel so good. Like, this and this is happening. Send somebody in. And as that's getting worse, I remember, like, not being able to make out people's faces that were in the room. Everything was going blurry.
That's fucking insane.
And then all of a sudden, I just remember, like, kind of tossing and turning. All of a sudden, tunnel vision, boom. Like, I fucking flatlined. Flatline, but it feels like sleeping pretty much.
Yeah, it was like, literally like you were going to like fading out, people's faces are blurry, everything's getting weird, and then just done. Like the TV screen when it turns off and goes to the
exactly, dude. It just fucking everything just turned off. But like, obviously at that point, like I'm not conscious. Like my heart stopped beating. But my brain's still, like, okay, because I'm still able to talk to you guys. Dude, like, if I would have been dead for any longer, I would probably have suffered, like, severe brain damage.
Yeah.
Like, lack of oxygen. But, I don't know. My buddy said I was probably gone for about 30 seconds, give or take. And...
that's fucking crazy.
It's super weird to think
about. All the people in that room were just in there, and then you were dead.
Yeah, they just all thought I
were
fucking
lying there
died.
as a corpse for 30 seconds.
And like you know, they code blue. They rushed everybody out. My dad and all my friends, they had to run out. A bunch of people came in, and they were so close to fucking doing the defibrillators, the fucking electric shock to my chest. But I heard they did 4 like solid chest compressions to get my blood like pumping. So I had lost so much blood, my heart had no more blood to pump. It was just like, so my heart just stopped beating. It's like, oh, our job's done. Like I don't need fucking more blood. I lost, the average person has 5.5 liters of blood, and I lost 2.5 liters of blood. So I lost like
half of your blood.
I lost about the half of as much blood as I should have had. So my veins were just collapsing. Like my heart couldn't pump anymore. But they got my heart pumping again. And one of the first things that I can actually remember is like seeing a doctor stand over me, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? And he was just like, well, we couldn't find a pulse. And I'm like, did I just fucking die? I don't know if I said what the fuck happened. I was just confused looking at him. And he's just like, well, we couldn't find a pulse on you. I'm like, and I literally said, did I just fucking die? And he didn't know what to say. He's like, oh, no, like, you know, sometimes that happens, like, if, like, he's just trying to make up some excuse, like, if you flatline and your heart is not beating, I'm pretty sure that means you're dead. Like, my brain might have still been, like, firing off pistons, you know, like, I wasn't, like,
because it was only
I wasn't super dead.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I wasn't super dead, but it was
you didn't see any fucking white light.
No, dude, I didn't see shit. That's also the freaky part that's been, like, haunting me ever since. I'm like, there's no afterlife. There's nothing. I didn't see shit, but I wonder if that was just because I didn't super die. Like,
you were.
I wasn't pronounced brain dead.
Yeah, you were like on the cusp of dying. You were like, Pre-cum dying.
Pre-cum dying, yes.
Yeah.
I did die, but it was like, we couldn't save this person, obviously, you know, like, but it was a close one. Like, I think any longer, dude, like, I would have been a vegetable probably, or it would have been really.
I think it takes a while to become a vegetable. You gotta be dead like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, fuck, dude.
I mean, but that's like 30 seconds is fucking pretty close to 2 minutes.
So I didn't see anything before, during, or after. It was black. All of a sudden, wake up, doctor above me.
It was literally like instantaneous.
It was instant, dude. It's like waking up, but I didn't dream.
That terrifies me.
And
that's so freaky to think like it's instantaneous. Like it freaks me out to think that you could just lay in bed, go to sleep, and never wake up.
Yeah, that sometimes, like last night, dude. I was actually thinking about that. I was like, dude, like, because I've been drinking a lot this past weekend, like I do every weekend. I'm like, and I blacked out, and I was like, what? I could just black out.
Dude, I'm
and
so
then
fucking bummed I didn't go to Tasha's party.
Yeah, like I was like, I could just black out and then not wake up. Like that's so fucked up, and like I wouldn't even have been able to really enjoy those last couple hours of my life because I was fucking out of my mind anyway.
Trash.
I was like basically, it's like basically being dead. Blacking out is basically dead. Like it's somehow you're like a zombie.
It's a zombie.
You're basically a
100%
zombie.
being a zombie. Brains off, bodies.
Dude,
all
I was such a piece of shit too. I was like coming onto one of my friends, and she has a boyfriend.
Who?
Her name's Tez.
I don't fucking know.
And yeah, she like I would never do that to anybody, but like
because you were.
But I was so drunk, and I feel like such a piece of shit for doing that.
Anytime I wake up and I don't remember last night, I'm like, what the fuck did I do last night?
And I woke up on the floor like I always do at that house whenever I get blacked out. And I woke up with soaked jeans.
Oh my
again.
God.
I have a problem with pissing myself.
Again.
But you're the only person I've told because I'm so like ashamed about
Besides
pissing.
anyone who listens to this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I didn't tell anybody at that party or anybody who was there at that party.
But did like leak onto the carpet?
I think it might have, but we were just like because Tasha was cleaning up the next day. And she's like, oh, it's wet right here. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Oh, must have spilled or
yeah, and then she was vacuuming it. She has like this vacuum that kind of like also works for like spilling on carpets. And she's like, oh, well, it looks clear because you can kind of see. I'm like, oh, it was probably just beer or water, but it was probably my clear piss. Because when you drink a lot, your pee becomes kind of clear like a lot of beer. That had to have been what it was. But like I woke up and like it was wet from my crotch down to like the inside of both ankles, like down like my whole, and I just slept it off until it dried up. And then I went the rest of the day
without changing.
What the fuck? Because it was, I swear to God, because it was dried up and it didn't. I know,
That's disgusting.
And it didn't smell. Like nobody called me out because I was hanging out with a bunch of friends and family like throughout that day, and nobody was like, damn, you smell like piss. I didn't smell anything, and it was completely dried up. I was like, well, fuck it. Might as well rock it throughout the rest of this day. Like, I don't give a shit anymore.
I couldn't do that. If I have too much dribble from after piss, I have to change.
It was soaked. But like I said, I slept it off. Like I laid around in my own piss until it dried up, dude. That's some serious sick dick shit right there.
Yeah, that fucking is. And on that note... So, as you can see, Khyler Vick is still alive.
Yeah.
Pissing in his pants like a real adult.
Fuck. Is that an hour?
That was, we're at 58 minutes. We did it. This is the first podcast. The inaugural, maybe it's going to be called the ADHD podcast. We don't know yet for sure. But
I feel like it works really well because...
we go on tangents.
But I guess like every podcast will do that. But it
also works because we both have ADHD.
Oh, we both grew up having bad ADHD and like being like not hooked on, but like forced to take Ritalin and Adderall and just like kind of fucked us up that way.
I think ADHD, the ADHD. What about the ADHD boys?
The ADHD boys.
The ADHD guys.
Blow up guys.
The blow up guys. I actually watched that the other day.
Oh
I
my
found
God.
that. I was watching these YouTubers that they just... It's almost like, do you know Mystery Science Theater 3000?
No.
Anyway, these two... well, what that is like, it's an old TV show where they would play old B movies, and they had kind of a loose storyline where a dude in space, trapped in space with two robots, would watch shitty old B horror movies and just roast them the entire time.
So, wait, are you getting at that they were roasting what we were doing?
They're roasting the... No. They were roasting the... This is the Mystery Science Mystery Science Theater 3000 is really famous. Is really famous. And they make fun of B movies. This YouTube channel does a similar thing where they'll watch just whatever movie and they'll have a commentary track over it, making bullshit jokes. And they like really hate Awesomeness TV.
Good, I hate them too. Shout out to Awesomeness TV for being shitty.
All the people that came out of Awesomeness TV that ended up into shitty YouTuber movies, they just like roast the shit out of them. And so they kept mentioning like fuck Awesomeness TV and shit. And I was like, God, I totally forgot my friend was on that. And I went to Awesomeness TV's YouTube channel, went back and found all your old Blow Up Guy videos and watched them all.
Dude, those videos
are so shit.
Well, what I was gonna say, those videos blew up, but that was a really shitty
Some of them
pun.
have like 1 million views.
No, really, like, and it was just because they would spam the fuck out of people that Awesomeness would. But Awesomeness went on to become like a huge company, and dude, that's a whole nother story I could get on, like the beginning.
And we can save it for another fucking podcast.
Like we should write that down. But like, my adventure with Awesomeness TV. Until next time, that was a hell of a fucking story. And the people we met and like the stuff that we filmed was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the way it got presented and the way it all kind of turned out, super cringy and lame, and it kind of fucked me and my friends over in the long run. But we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. That is the inaugural ADHD Boys Maybe podcast.
The ADHD experience.
Okay, Joe Rogan.
Like we could just be like H3 and call it the ADHD like whatever. Like after like, cause you ever heard like Ethan? They called it for a while. They called it the H3 experience just to like make fun of Joe Rogan.
That's funny.
I don't know, but like that's a test run. The ADHD.
We're not.
Wait,
set on
let's think about it for like a couple seconds.
Because I thought about being an acronym.
Yeah.
So the ADHD stands for something like
attention deficit
alcoholics.
Hyper disorder. Just kidding. Well, the one pattern with this is we always drink before and during
the podcast. And I would have already explained this in the intro.
Yeah.
When I make it, because I haven't made it yet.
But when we do, we need to think of an acronym. Because, I mean, it already stands for Attention Deficit Hyper Disorder. But, like, it could just be the ADD podcast. Like, ADD flows better, but, like, we were both diagnosed with ADHD, like, throughout our childhood.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you get me going now, you can definitely tell I have it, like, with the hyperness. Like, I can get really fucking stupid.
Yeah, I feel you with that.
Well, you can too, dude. When I saw you drink one weekend, you were throwing pizzas at everybody and everything. And you fucking put hot sauce on our nipples and made me and my buddy lick it. Like, you were on one, dude.
That was Rowdy Caden.
You were definitely rowdy as fuck.
Yeah, that's my alter ego, Rowdy Caden.
Like, I don't know why you threw pizza at my face, but like it was for no reason. Because
I was not a human being at that moment.
Because you thought I did something that I didn't do, or like you were assuming I was gonna do something
that you hadn't done.
I hadn't done yet, and then you fucking threw pizza at
me. That was a crazy fucking night.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was my birthday, just a couple of weeks ago now, but over a month ago. Fuck, goddamn, time flies.
I swear, dude, it's because of this like. I've heard people talk about it before, but the technology and the phones and everything
just makes it go by faster.
But like everything, even before like smartphones and shit, like going like my transition from like elementary to middle school, then high school, like high school was like my like towards like middle and high school is when I had smartphones in my life. But like beginning of high school, I still had a flip phone.
But I've also heard like everybody says that the second they graduate high school, the time flies by.
That's what I was gonna say though. Like with anybody, like ask your parents, like anybody that you like, anyone in your family, like time just fucking flies for some reason. Maybe it's because you're working so much.
You're just like you've started life. You're now gonna work every day.
And it's just like, dude. And I've thought about that.
There's no more accomplishments. We did it. And it's like please.
Sometimes I'm like, I was thinking that today. I'm like, I'm not even that depressed. I'm just kind of bored. I'm just kind of over it. Like this. If this is what this is, like work, I just have to wake up at fucking 6 in the morning every day just to barely make it by. Like fuck that.
It is pretty shit.
But there's other people who have worked way hard for what they have and like don't have to fucking struggle. It's like
I haven't
that's just
worked
my
hard
fault.
enough to complain yet.
Yeah, it's like, well, my job, I do work my fucking ass off, but it's just I don't get paid a lot at my job.
Yeah.
And I am a shit employee though. Last week I fucking got extremely drunk at a bar named Sue on Thursday.
That's my favorite
Woke
bar.
up Friday morning.
Who'd you go with?
Tyler Olson, Tyler Clark, and like some of their friends.
What the fuck was my invite?
I know. I was actually thinking about you that night because one time we did see you at a bar named Sue.
Yeah. It's my favorite bar.
And we played beer pong, and
It's
I
one of
was
my favorites.
fucking killing it, dude. I made 3 shots not in a row, but like every time I tried, I called the Luke. No, I called the Luke Skywalker shot. So
What the fuck is that?
When it's the final cup on like for you to win. So like we had final cup left, and we just weren't making it. I'm like, fuck it, dude. I took my hat off, you know, like Luke Skywalker took away his like thing to shoot the Death Star. So I took my hat off, set my beer to the side, closed my eyes.
Shut the fuck up.
3 times, dude. I made it where I closed my eyes, took my hat off, put my beer to the side, shot it, sunk the last cup. You should, like, we were all freaking out. Like, I don't know how, because I literally think like you just kind of, because you look at it and then you don't overthink it and you just do like what,
and
like,
you know where, like,
and you don't compensate any direction. You don't fuck up. You just kind of like feel it out, I guess. I don't know. It was crazy. We won 2 out of the 3 games we played, and the 3rd game was really close, so I still had a really good time. But anyway, I woke up the next morning to my boss calling me at 7:30, and we're supposed to be there at 7. And I just didn't answer because when I opened my eyes, the ceiling was like moving because I was still drunk as fuck. Still really drunk. Like I just wake up and like, you know, like I was just dizzy.
I've had that.
And I was just like, well, I'm not going into work today. And I just didn't call or text them. And when I went into work today, they're like, oh, luckily you called in Friday. Friday was a fucking shit show. I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, now I feel like a fucking dick for not coming in, but like I would have been totally useless. Like, probably throwing up, super hungover and cranky. Like, I would have actually had to drive drunk to get to work because I know for a fact I was not sober at 7 in the morning.
That's fucking insane.
But all right, dude.
All right, fucking
Cheers, man.
Cheers, man.
Caden Casaus.